Okay guys, I'm going to share my eyeshadow brush collection, tell you what I think about the ones that I have, and maybe we can share some tips in the comments, because by no means am I an expert. I did quite a bit of research earlier in the year to try to make some better choices, but still no expert. These are my natural hair brushes that I use to go from basically lash line to brow bone. I think this is the one I've been using every single day. It is the CB. I have no idea what that stands for. And I actually bought this at a whole kit at Sam's, and I love these brushes, and they were only, I think it was $30 for 15 brushes or so. I do love these, so if you ever see the CB brushes at Sam's, I totally recommend picking those up. What you're basically looking for is something a little bit dense, but still yet not dense and stiff. It's nice if you have a little bit of bend. That helps blend the shadow a little bit better. And the natural hair is going to pick up powder quite a bit better than the synthetic ones. And I'm going to show you a little demonstration of that in a little while. These two are the ones I've really been using for that. This one is the one I used to always use. It was the only thing I had, and it worked really well. It's actually the Joan Rivers Beauty. It comes with the hair powder, and this worked really well for that. It's getting a little beat up. I actually had to glue the ferrule back on. But yeah, it still works, and it's still not a bad brush. I'm gonna move on to my cream eyeshadow brushes. I don't use cream eyeshadow all that often. What I mainly use it for is as a base. So I will put it from lash line all the way up to my eyebrow, just to give me a nice base. I do that pretty much every day. And the one brush I reach for and that I think is the absolute best, the Sephora Airbrush, sorry, that's probably backwards, but Airbrush Shadow. I absolutely adore this brush. Until I had this brush, I hated cream eyeshadow. I'm going to be honest. I thought it was stupid, but I used it every day as a base. I was actually able to do an eye look with this brush and another one I'm going to show you here in a bit. Like a whole eye look, blended out. Everything looked beautiful. I mean, this isn't a great brush. And I bought it in the kit. It's $68. I love some of the Sephora brushes. They're some of my favorite brushes I have ever came across. And then sometimes you'll get some that are just really, really cheap and bad. I feel like Sephora brushes are priced appropriately, so you kind of know. The really cheap ones usually aren't that great. The more expensive, you usually get into the good brushes. And they have a great return policy, so if you're unhappy with the quality, send it back. In comparison to that brush, we have, this is Elizabeth Mott All Over Shadow Brush. It's pretty good. It's really stiff, really dense, has a certain shape, and I just feel like it kind of smears things around. It works at the end. At the end of the day, it works, but not as well as that one. Same with, should have taken this one back. It's the Japonesque 213. It's okay. It was just expensive. I think it's a $20 brush. I may actually look into taking it back. It's just not, I don't know, it just kind of smears things around. It doesn't really blend them out. It's not really that great, in my opinion. Same with this Eco Tools full eyeshadow brush. This is okay for putting one large area of color down, but the Sephora brush just kicks all of these butts. I have this concealer brush from Pierre. This is probably my next favorite to the Sephora brush for just laying down one color. Once again, it's synthetic with the dual fibers. There's just something going on with the dual fiber that it just works better. This is what I used to always use. This is the Wet Dry Shadow brush from bareMinerals. It is, woo! This is another one of the same. These actually work better as wet dry shadow brushes. All wet bareMinerals eyeshadows, I'm pretty certain, are wet dry. And these actually work really great if you just spritz them with a little bit of water, and you get a really nice, highly pigmented look with those. But they're not as great for cream shadows. They just kind of, same with the Japonesque brush, the thinner brushes kind of just gunk up so quickly. You use them once and they're already gunked up, so you have to like either clean them off with a daily cleaner pretty much every day, or wash them every other use or so. So same with that. These were the Sephora Pantone blending and eyeshadow brush. These are okay. For this one's just too big, honestly. And this one isn't bad, but I don't like the shape of it. That kind of flat shape is just sort of, other than laying down one color all over, it's just kind of not the best shape for anything. It's okay for putting it just on the lid, but again, this is another example of Sephora just having good brushes. This is the Sephora All Over eyeshadow brush. I actually got these on clearance. You can see I have a ton of them. This little set was $5. I think you can still buy this brush. You can't buy the cat eyeliner brush, and it's not a very good brush. I'm sure that's why these ended up on clearance. I actually picked one of them up, and then I picked another one up, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love these so much that I'm just gonna buy a couple more. I split these up. I keep some of them in my travel kit and la-di-do, but it's just a great all-over shadow brush. It's great. It picks up a perfect amount of powder product. It blends extremely well. I am going to show you one of these in use, but I'm pretty certain you can still buy that one. You know, it's not going to come with these, which these aren't any good. Since I don't think you can buy these anymore, I don't think I'm going to talk that much about those. Okay, these are more of kind of just laying down all over color. Once again, we have a Sephora double-ended brush. One's eyeshadow, one is a smudge brush. This is a good brush. I don't like double-ended brushes. I keep them in my travel bag, but you know, I like to store my brushes standing up, so one end always gets smushed, and I don't like that, but at least this one has a little slide. This is the C476 Crease Shadow Brush from Crown Brush. I actually got this one in a Birchbox or an Ipsy bag. I love this brush. I think it's great. Once again, we have the dual fibers. I think it's great. I do keep it in my travel bag, but it's really good at picking up color, putting it on. This one's also good with, you know, inner corner work. So I really do like this brush. Crown Brush is typically inexpensive. I would like to try more of their stuff. I just, right at the moment, don't really need any more brushes. And if you see it, I would recommend picking it up. It also works really well with cream shadow. So this is just a good all-around brush that I think is a good investment. This brush I don't get at all. This is the bareMinerals eyeshadow buffing brush, and it is way too dense, first of all, and way too, like, see how cut that is? Like, it doesn't buff well unless you're trying to take everything you just laid down off. This just isn't good. Maybe I'll try it wet one day and see, or maybe try it with cream product, but yeah, I don't care for that. Okay, these are all kind of like crease brushes. I'll just go through these. This is the Mary Kay, I think, eye crease brush. It is not good. It is way too flimsy, in my opinion. It doesn't pick up a lot of product, I think. I can't tell if that's synthetic or not. It's very silky, so that's usually a clue. The bareMinerals Tapered Crease Brush. I actually really like this brush and am considering buying another one. The natural hairs, once again, pick up a good amount of product, and it blends really well. Also, the shape of it, nice and small, and you can use it on its side, and it really does blend really well. So that's one of my favorite crease brushes. The CB Beauty Blending Crease Brush, it's not as good. The difference, in my opinion, and a good one and a bad one are for a crease brush, it's just denser and it holds its shape. These are just so flimsy, like the color, when you start blending, I mean, stuff just starts going everywhere. So you're not holding the nice shape of the crease that you want. You're just kind of blending everything out. EB15 from Sedona Lace. It is a crease brush I do really like. I like the bareMinerals better because it's smaller, but maybe if you have a larger crease. But once again, it does hold its shape. It does blend out really nicely. So I do actually like the Sedona Lace crease brush. This is a Sephora Crease Shadow Brush. I think I actually purchased this one. It's number 73. I think I actually purchased this one when I was looking for crease brushes, and it's not in my favorite category. If I were going to recommend to purchase one, I would go with the bareMinerals brush. Just once again, it's too loose. You get too much product going everywhere. And this is my Sephora Airbrush crease brush. This one is amazing with cream shadow. When you're working with cream shadow, loose kind of works a lot better because the product itself kind of helps the brush keep its shape. So the looseness of this one actually helps keep the cream product blendable. So I do really recommend, if you like to do like a full-on cream product look, you know, crease work, outer corner, I really, really recommend the Sephora Airbrush crease. If you don't ever use cream products, I wouldn't recommend this brush at all. It's terrible with powder, and yeah, that's just my opinion. Another brush. I love this brush. I think this is one of my favorite brushes. I use it every single day. Sedona Lace 904. These Sedona Lace was actually recommended to me by Zyzo, and I think she's right on with liking them. She actually recommended the eye brushes, not so much the face brushes. And I agree. I've been very happy with the eye brushes that I got from them. I love this little tiny guy. He fits perfectly for me to do outer corner work. I can just kind of pick up a little bit of shadow and just kind of blend it in a little bit. Short little sections. It blends well, but it still picks up product, and it doesn't pick up a lot where it's so small and kind of dense. It doesn't pick up, you know, what you already have down. It's very good at laying down and blending what you laid down out. This actually came with the Laura Geller highlighter that I bought. I actually really like this. It's a sponge tip applicator. This I actually use on my face, and to apply highlight, I just kind of dab it in the highlighter and smudge it out. I think it works beautifully. This I use for my inner corner if I want to add some highlight in my inner corner. It just does such a great job of laying down product without picking up what's already on your face, and you know, that's typically a problem for me, especially because I have oily skin. These came, I think, in the Real Techniques little kit. Every once in a while I pull these guys out. If I make a mistake and I kind of need to apply like concealer over it, I'll pull this guy out and kind of use it for that, but I don't think it's very good. I just do that because it's small. And what I do really like these brushes for is lipstick. I think they work well for a lip brush. They have this nice pointed tip, so you can really get a good shape. Once you put the lip product on there, it really just doesn't move, and it keeps a nice shape, and it looks, in my opinion, it's a great inexpensive lip brush. It's not travel friendly, obviously, because it's not retractable, but throw this in, you know, your lip palette or whatever. Okay, on to my absolute favorite brush of all eye brushes. I have the MAC 217. I was looking for a dupe forever, and I tried probably 4 or 5 different brushes. I ended up sending all of them back, except for the Sedona Lace EB09, and it's still, in my opinion, not a dupe. La-de-do. Just spend the $24 to get the MAC 217. It is amazing, and I just couldn't find any other brushes. I would find brushes with the shape, but they would be too dense. Sigma has changed their brush. Oh, is it the E40? It used to be, I think it would have probably been the best dupe for this, but they have now changed it to a synthetic bristle brush, and synthetic just does not work as well with powder as natural hair. So, and like I said, I'm going to demonstrate that. But we have the MAC 217. Great thing about the MAC 217 is you can do anything with it. You can go all over the lid. It's amazing for crease work. You can even do like a larger outer corner. You can do a highlight in the brow bone. If you need to do a one brush look, you know, if you're going to travel, this is the only brush you need. get some, you know, wipe it off in between colors, work from light to dark, and this is literally the only brush you need. It is amazing. If you're going to invest in one brush, it should be that. The other thing we have is the Sedona Lace. This is the best dupe that I found, so I went ahead and held on to it, but honestly, it's just not as good. The problem being, okay, first of all, you can see that the shape is quite a bit different. See, the Sedona Lace tries to mimic that. It's hard to see it in camera. You have to turn it like almost perfectly. The Sedona Lace tries to mimic that, but this has this shape where it all kind of comes together and then it rounds out and it's almost the shape of a circle. This one is more flat across. It's more flat here. And then you kind of get a little bit of tapering up here. But if you look at this, starting all the way around this perimeter, it starts about right there and it starts tapering towards the center. And that's where you're getting the beautiful blending out qualities that this brush gives. Whereas this one, you know, you kind of have this little area right here that's good at blending, but not so much because, one other reason, just look at how much this brush is just so much stiffer in general than this brush. Because the bristles are more tightly packed in there. This does not blend as well or even give you the precision. I'm sure you've heard on YouTube maybe the trick about going to buy brushes at Michael's or at a craft store because you can use the coupon and get one brush for half off. In my opinion, just stick with real eyeshadow brushes. Good brushes at craft stores are expensive. I actually used to be a painter and have a whole collection, and believe me, they're just as expensive as makeup brushes, even if you have the coupon. Here's the thing, painting brushes tend to be a lot longer here. They tend to have a lot longer bristles. They're just not meant for eyeshadow work, and in my opinion, unless you get really lucky, that's not the best advice. Totally my opinion, and could totally just be I haven't found the right brushes. I don't use gel eyeliner, so I'm not even going to talk about my gel eyeliner brushes. These brushes are the Eye Defining Brush by bareMinerals. I was not really that impressed with these. In a pinch, I would use this for maybe all over the lid, but actually trying to use these in your crease just made such a mess. I was not happy with this little angled cut at all. Maybe you guys know what I'm doing wrong with that. This was like a little dollar brush that I picked up at Walmart. It is amazing for powder eyebrow products. I also have this Tarte brush. This is actually the second one that I've had. I prefer this more for, I prefer this kind of shape for the gel eyeliners. And then we have these two blending brushes. And I love both of these for different purposes. This is the bareMinerals Soft Focus Eyeshadow Brush. What I love about this one as a blending brush is that if you put on too much eyeshadow, you can really take the product off with this one. It picks up a lot of product, which could be a negative thing, but if you actually apply too much eyeshadow and you're like, whoa, I look crazy, this actually picks up enough product and it blends it out nicely, and it really tones down your look. So I love to use this for mornings when I'm a little bit heavy-handed. And then this is the Sedona Lace 863. And I like this one just as a nice blending brush. I think it does a really good job. It's a lot less dense than the bareMinerals brush, so it doesn't pick up as much product, but it does do a good job of smoothing out anything that you already have down. I'm going to show you sort of the synthetic versus natural eyeshadow brush. This brush is natural and this is synthetic. When you're using them with powder product, and I went ahead and I picked a really pigmented Lorac shadow, and this is actually this is a pretty good quality shadow, and it doesn't kick up a lot of powder, so this isn't the best example. But synthetic versus natural also affects how much powder you kick up when you dip your brush in. A nice swipe of the synthetic down my arm. I don't know if you can tell, it's pretty patchy just in one. Here's another synthetic. Boom. Still not looking so great. Pretty patchy. And then, and this one in this particular shadow is actually kicking up a lot more product than the synthetic ones did, but we're also, okay, it's, sorry, it's getting caught in my arm hair, but let's blend that out. Let's blend that out. And let's blend that out. Just try this little experiment with your synthetic versus natural brushes in your powder products. It is insane the difference that you're going to get. Alright guys, so I think that was really all I wanted to share with you with my experience with eye brushes. If you have a video or if you know some great eye brushes that I'm missing, I would love to know, because this has been, it's been a fun but somewhat expensive journey, so I'm going to take a break, and I did end up sending quite a few things back. Luckily I was able to do that. So, and a lot of these came, you know, a lot of the bareMinerals stuff, they come with gift sets and different things. The big reason I wanted to get this video done was because I need to declutter my brushes. And so I'm going to make another video and declutter my eye brushes and my face brushes all at one time. I'm going to do it right now, actually. So if you watch that video, you'll see which of these brushes I decided to just let go of. Anyways, I will see you guys again soon. And bye! I feel like I always have to wave at you, even though that just looks like jazz fingers.